Hey everyone, it's weather for Weather Geeks time on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm recording this at about 2:35 p.m. and going to show you some current information, and we'll talk about the future as well. But we're actually going to start with the past and this morning's little snow squall event that caused some havoc on the roadways across the Mahoning Valley. This did not drop a lot of snow at all in most spots. As you can see on the accumulation map here, a couple of spots did report an inch. There's an inch in Newton Falls. I had someone on Facebook tell me they had up to a couple of inches over in Mercer County, and down in the Salem area there might have been a half an inch or so out of this this morning. But for the most part, that was the exception. The rule was a coating, which is what our forecast called for, but it came at the wrong time of the day. You know, you get a coating of snow if it comes down hard enough at 7:30 in the morning when everybody's out running around and the school buses are out. That can cause some problems. And you know, I like to say a lot of times that these coatings or half an inch of snow events, they can cause more problems than the 3 and 4 inch snow events because we're a little more unprepared for them. The roads probably haven't been treated. Everything can be a little slicker. Your mindset isn't in a snowstorm mindset when you're driving. You know, when you're in the middle of a bona fide snowstorm, you're a little more prepared for the conditions. If it's a half an inch, it comes on suddenly. Sometimes those situations can be worse. So this morning was one of those types of situations. You can see that the snowfall was definitely heavier up in the snow belts over the last 12 hours or so. They picked up a couple of inches, 3 inches up in parts of Geauga County. But we've had a little sun out there midday and afternoon today with some flurries mixed in as well. Here's the radar and satellite. We'll zoom in on home here, let the data reload. And you'll see that there are occasionally some blips of blue out there indicating some snow flurries, but for the most part, it's just kind of a variably cloudy day. It's brisk and it's cold. It is, you know, no higher than the 20s. I'll pop on the temperatures here in just a second after we let this run for a few seconds, give you an idea as to what the overall big picture is here. I'll show you those temperatures here in the 2 o'clock hour, and it's no higher than about 21 here in Youngstown. Here's the wind chill down to the single digits to around 10. So yeah, it's not real fun to be outside today, but I always like to keep things in perspective. It could be worse. Check out the temperatures up here across the prairies of Canada and into the northern plains. It's as cold as, so let's see here, 15 below in some spots. Got some below zero temperatures in North Dakota and Minnesota. Take a look at the wind chills. Yikes. Wind chills 20 to 30 below or so up here. And this is the air that's going to keep bleeding into the U.S. over the next few days. It's going to come down in chunks and parcels, but it's definitely going to be a factor here with our worst cold coming, it looks like, tomorrow and into Thursday and probably Friday morning as well. It's going to be right back into the kind of stuff that we experienced during the middle of January, first part of February, when we were just stuck firmly in the deep freeze. If you want warmth today, you got to head to Florida, Georgia, beaches of South Carolina. There's 78 in Charleston. That sounds nice, but the icy grip of winter is still felt in most of the country today with just a few exceptions. All right, let's talk about things as we go into the future. Will we have a repeat of this morning anytime real soon? You know, there's not a real good low-pressure area that I can really point to on the map and make it real easy to explain. So I'm actually going to show you a little bit here of the upper level wind pattern and spin in the atmosphere. We call this vorticity. And we like to look at about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. Let me pop on the winds here. We're talking about if you're a weather geek and you know these sorts of things. Whoops, you know this is the 500 millibar level, which is kind of halfway up through the atmosphere, roughly at the 18,000 foot level from the ground. And we look at this to point out where these little features are that'll impact our weather. I'm going to zoom forward here to tomorrow morning, actually the wee hours of tonight. We'll call this about 4 a.m. And where you have these colors, these brighter colors here, that's where the air is spinning at this level. It's a fancy term for it. It's called vorticity, and the spin up at that level causes the air to rise. It's one of the mechanisms for the air to rise. And so we've got this disturbance at the 500 millibar level moving through here, where you see some of the coloring. And what this is going to do is cause some uplift in the atmosphere. There's going to be some lift here tomorrow morning at here's 7 a.m. You'll notice we get into some of the brighter colors here right over Ohio. And what that's going to mean for us overall is some light snow popping up. It could be kind of a similar situation to what we had this morning. Let me pop on the predicted radar here. You know, it's not showing much, but this display oftentimes doesn't show the lightest snow here. This is going to be more of a nuisance thing again. an inch is going to be pushing it, but again, late tonight, tomorrow morning, you could have one of these situations where someone gets a coating of snow, half an inch of snow maybe, and it comes maybe at the wrong time, so we might have to watch for some slick spots once again tomorrow morning. So just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. Here's kind of another view of things Wednesday morning. Weak area of low pressure upstate New York. Here's our little disturbance with a cold front pushing through. And you'll notice there's no dark greens on here, just real light, subtle greens, meaning there could be some light snow around tomorrow morning. So be aware, you might have to allow for an extra 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to dry things out tomorrow afternoon. Here's Thursday. Again, not a big system, but there's going to be another one of these nuisance little clippers that rolls through the Great Lakes and provides light snow. It looks like it's again in the morning hours on Thursday, so again, we might have to watch for sneaky half-inch, 3/4 of an inch amounts that cause some slick spots Thursday morning. So tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, similar situation. Friday looks like an uneventful day. No sneaky snow that day. It just looks dry and uneventful. We'll head into the weekend, and this is where the forecast becomes a little more challenging. Saturday, this looks fairly weak to me, but this could be just enough maybe on Saturday that someone gets an inch or two of snow out of this. Just speculation at this point. It's only Tuesday, but I'm speculating that Saturday is our next chance to see enough to maybe shovel or at least brush off. So I have to keep an eye on that. A chance for a bigger ticket item coming our way second half of the weekend into the first half of next week. And this is where, we're getting into big-time speculation here. We're talking about 6-7 days from now. I'm going to show you a few different models and show you why the uncertainty is pretty high this far out. Here's the Canadian model for Sunday afternoon. It's got some light to moderate snow around the state of Ohio. GFS has the precip, the snow shield, farther north. In fact, the system gets so far north that there could be maybe some mixing in here in parts of Ohio. We could have a mix somewhere if the GFS were to be right Sunday afternoon. So we've got some timing questions. We've got what type of precipitation is this, kind of questions. Sunday night into Monday morning, Canadian dries things out. GFS still has precipitation around Sunday night into Monday morning. And again, if the GFS were to be exactly right, it might be some kind of mix. And then Monday, the GFS tends to dry us out after maybe bringing us some snow on the back end of things here. So that's the GFS and Canadian. Here's the third model, the European model. I've got to show you this on a different display because the date is not quite in on my other display there. It has Sunday, some snow around, probably light, again, maybe a couple of inches here and there, a break. Here's Sunday night. We get a break, and then the precipitation tries to push back in on Monday. And if the European model here were to be exactly right, this will be enough to shovel and plow as we head into Sunday late in the day and into Monday. So we're doing a lot of speculating here. Don't want you to latch on to any particular idea at this point. Just want to raise your awareness that there's no real big ticket items coming our way, no major storms until perhaps the end of the weekend and early next week. The details still have to be worked out. Timing, what type of precipitation, how much precipitation, all those things are big question marks. But we could be dealing with a storm of some variety Sunday into Monday. Until then, any snow events, like tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, maybe Saturday, will be fairly minor in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it can cause some slick spots, but no big accumulations. All right, we'll wrap things up talking about temperatures. I wanted to show you this computer model simulation for the entire month of March, showing the temperature anomalies, the expected temperatures compared to average, in other words. And this is predicting a colder than average March from the prairies of Canada right down through the Midwest and into much of the Northeast as well. Now, this is a forecast for an entire month. That doesn't mean every single day in March will be colder than average, but the month as a whole, according to this model, will be colder than average. And this lines up with a lot of long-range thinking. Particularly the first half of March looks quite a bit colder than average. We're hopeful that we'll turn the corner in the second half, and it won't be as unusually chilly second half of March. But the first half, pretty confident. Confidence is pretty high that the first half of March will still be very chilly compared to where it should be during the first half of that month. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. I'll see you tonight, 21 News, 6 and 11. Another edition of this video right back in this same spot on Wednesday afternoon.